Time for the word on Wall Street. Top investors watching your money. Joining me right now is the University of Akron Endowment Fund Chairman Dennis Gartman, Payne Capital Management President Ryan Payne, and Mahoney Asset Management CEO Ken Mahoney. Ken, if you were conservative on technology, you left a lot of money on the table. Ken, Apple is closing in on a $3 trillion market cap. If the stock hits $182.85, we're talking $3 trillion in market value. There are a ton of $1 trillion plus $2 trillion companies within tech. You own Apple. What do you make of this valuation?
I think it makes sense. I mean, as you mentioned, look, it's going to hit probably by the end of the year, $182, a $3 trillion market cap. But for all the reasons, I mean, this company has such a wide moat. I mean, the barriers to entry to what they do is almost impossible. And think about the ecosystem that they have. Now, just think of what's going to happen next year. We're going to have a true 5G upgrade cycle. And oh, by the way, they've been filing a lot of patents for cars, two of already which got granted. And what's interesting behind that, you think about those companies in that space, in that growth space, they get higher valuations, not lower valuations. So it's very exciting for them. And as far as earnings, if you dissect the last quarter, they averaged $38 million an hour of revenue. So during the mornings from Maria's show, this beautiful show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., Maria, those 3 hours, I figure Apple will probably do revenues about $120 million. And actually, that's more money than most companies make in a single quarter. They're going to do that in the next 3 hours.
That's incredible to me. And, you know, there were so many questions when first Tim Cook took over. Will Apple have the innovation? Will Apple be able to grow, you know, post Steve Jobs? And it's done a pretty good job, hasn't it?
I'd say so. I'd say so.
Yeah. Ryan, how about Tesla? Elon Musk is still selling stock. He sold more of his Tesla shares, this time $906.5 million worth of Tesla stock. What is he doing here? The stock is down this morning. He also says tweets do not have much of an impact on markets and investors should not pay attention to his tweeting. Ryan, Tesla shares down 1.5% right now.
Well, first off, let's put this in perspective. He sold about $12 million worth of Tesla stock in the last 2 months. He still owns $180 billion worth of stock. You know, it's 72% of his net worth. So a lot of this is prearranged, some options that he had to sell, and he had to raise money for taxes. So, I mean, his tweets are wily. There's no getting around that. But the bottom line is, look, I mean, if there's anyone who's all or nothing, I think it's got to be Elon Musk, right? So I think the bottom line is he still owns a ton of the stock. He owns 17% of the company. To put that in perspective, Jeff Bezos only owns 10% of Amazon. So, you know, for all those reasons, I would say that, you know, Elon Musk is probably a great believer in his stock. He's probably one of the most confident, maybe delusional CEOs of all time. But the bottom line is I don't think it's a big deal he's selling that much. But I will say this. Yeah. This goes back to what Dennis said. Well, first off, you are seeing a lot of insider selling right now. In fact, it's up 50% this year on S&P 500 companies. So CEOs are selling their stock right now, specifically tech. Tech has been the biggest sector that you've seen selling. I think that is indicative of the fact that valuations are getting frothy, specifically in technology. Now, I'm a wild bull. I say it every week. I think the market's going to melt up into the end of the year. And, you know, pretty much we've seen that, right? We're seeing a very, very strong market here. But I don't think that discounts the fact that parts of the market are getting frothy. I know Apple's a great company, but at 35 times forward earnings, it's probably higher than it should be. So I do think there will be a big sell-off at some point, but I think in the meantime, markets are still going higher. Not that I could go against Dennis Gartman, but I think you have to be careful of the tech trade here. The valuations there are definitely getting frothy. Buyer beware.
Wow. Well, that's about as negative as I've heard a roaring bull be in some time. I know you're a roaring bull, but I'm hearing a little Dennis Gartman there as well. Maybe you're onto something, Dennis, with all that insider selling.
I've been hanging out with Dennis too long.
Thank you so much. Ken Mahoney, Ryan Payne, Dennis Gartman. Always a pleasure, gentlemen. Thank you so much for being here. We have much more ahead this week.